Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's webinar, Celebrating Manufacturing's Importance to the Local Economy. Today, we will hear from CITGO, Joliet Junior College, LyondellBasell. And before we get started, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during these presentations, you can send them through the chat at the toolbar at the bottom of the screen in Zoom. The Q&A portion of this session will be held after the presentations. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted to the Illinois workNet YouTube channel. So I'll now go ahead and introduce our presenters for this morning. They include representatives from CITGO. We have Mendy Stranowski and Jennifer Stocks. And from Joliet Junior College, we have Melissa Lachek and Amy Murphy. And from LyondellBasell, we have Megan Borchers. And with that, we will now begin with CITGO.
Good morning, everyone. Wanted to start by introducing you to CITGO, and we thought the best way to do that was to show a short video. So we'll start with that. Okay, we'll pull up our slides here. I have been part of the CITGO team for 19 years. I work at the Lamont refinery, and go ahead and go to that next slide when you're able. And you can go ahead and do a next slide again. So I can remember before I started with CITGO, and I didn't know a lot about oil refineries or what we do. So we'll start from the beginning that an oil refinery is an industrial process plant where we take crude oil and transform it into more useful products. Our primary product is transportation fuels. You can see that 48% of our product is gasoline with another 31% as diesel fuels, and then some solvents and some industrial products. Let's go ahead and go to that next slide. I know for me, when people said solvents and industrial products, I really didn't know what that was either, right? And so when you look at this slide, it shows all different things in each of our homes that are made by petroleum products in one way or another. So everything from the cosmetics that we use to the asphalt we drive on to that non-stick coating on the cookware. Couldn't live without that, right? So we have a lot of different products that are in our daily life that come from in oil refining and the refining process. All right, let's go ahead and go to that next slide. At Lamont, we have 510 CITGO employees here. We're split pretty evenly between our salaried employees and our hourly employees. When you think of our hourly employees, you think of our op techs and our maintenance techs and people whose hands are on the equipment. Salaried employees, you have a wide variety from HR to IT to public affairs to our engineers, et cetera. Let's go ahead and move to that next slide. But in total, we have 970 people who work at CITGO here every day. So we have about 460 contractors in addition to our 510 employees. I know the video showed, CITGO by the numbers, and when you think of our local community and you think of our facility and having 970 people coming here each and every day to work, that's a big impact. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next slide. I'm in HR, so my perspective is, well, what type of jobs do you have? If I wanted to work there, what could I do there? A lot of conversations we've had about when we were choosing our careers, did we know what we wanted to do? Did we understand what the different options were, what the different choices were? So I'm just going to kind of go over in general all the things that we have here. I usually say when you think about our refinery, think about a small city, and almost every job that would take to run a small city, it takes to run our facility. So from our operation technicians to our console supervisors to our unit supervisors, those are our core job and operations. There's a picture of an OpTech here on the slide. That's the gentlemen or ladies who have the tools that are out there adjusting valves and making sure everything is working. Our console supervisors are typically inside and running process equipment through series of computer screens and have their fingers on the controls from that perspective. And our unit supervisors are overseeing that operation and making sure that we're safe and reliable and environmentally sound each and every day. If you move into maintenance, we have maintenance technicians, everything from heavy craft to instrumentation, electrical and mechanical. Mechanical works on our pumps. Planners, takes a lot of planners to plan the work that we do here on a regular basis, both on the routine side and the turnaround and capital side. A turnaround would be a time where we shut down part of the facility to make needed repairs. And so we plan that work out because during those times, we have additional people here in the plant working. Reliability, when we talk about our core values, safety and environment, definitely the top. Reliability follows closely behind. We want to make sure that we are operating as reliably and efficiently as we can. And we have engineers that work in the fixed equipment side. Think about stationary objects versus rotating equipment side, like our pumps that are moving, vibrating, rotating. And then inspectors that are making sure that everything's at the appropriate metallurgy and the appropriate safety measures are in place for all the equipment to run how it should be as well. All right, let's go ahead and move to that next slide. Engineering, everything from process design engineers, our OPEs or operations process engineering, both process design engineers and operations process engineers are typically chemical engineers by degree. Project engineers, project managers are typically mechanical engineer by degree. Process control engineers can be chemical or electrical. Cost control engineers and strategic planners. I would say we have approximately 100 in total engineers of all different varieties here at our plant. Also a strong health, safety, environmental, and security group. We have occupational health nurses here, safety supervisors, fire department, environmental subject matter experts, everything from air to water. We have a lab here. And so we have lab technicians and chemists that work here every day as well. All right, we can move to that next slide. And then we have human resources, financial analysts, IT professionals, procurement agents, our government and public affairs professionals. Again, when you think about running an organization our size, almost any type of job or career you can think about we have someone here working in that capacity. Um, we also have a lot of contractor opportunities. We talked in the beginning about having many contractors here, and our pipe fitters, our scaffold builders, our equipment operators outside, forklift drivers, crane operators, CAD designers. Those are typically career opportunities here that are currently on the contract side, but still exist. And people are coming here each and every day to perform that work. Okay. I think I'm going to turn it over to Megan at Lyondell now and go from there.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My name is Megan Borchers. I'm the public relations lead for LyondellBasell, and in my region includes our Morris complex. But we actually have facilities all over the world. We're a global corporation. So I appreciate you joining us today and learning a little bit more about manufacturing and what that entails. I think it's really important in particular to host these kinds of events and talk about a lot of the misperceptions around manufacturing. And we've had a great deal of success bringing in local educators and stakeholders into our facility and actually showing them who we are and what we do. For example, LyondellBasell, we make products that go into, we make plastic pellets. So if you think about like a Beanie Baby, when you ripped open that Beanie Baby, all those little plastic beads, essentially give or take, that's what we do. And we sell those little beads to third-party organizations, to companies that turn them into products that you use every single day. That could include food packaging. So, taking home your groceries in a safe manner so it preserves your food. It would be, material inside your computers or your cell phones, inside your cars, in particular your bumpers. Just a variety of different, as you mentioned, carpet fibers. I mean, a variety of different things that you wouldn't necessarily think, but plastic is really part of our everyday world. I do want to make a point. We are a part of a global initiative called the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. And there's a lot of controversy around plastic in particular. And we want to be part of the solution. And we have a seat at the table to make sure that although we are manufacturing plastic, we're doing that in a very responsible way. And we're taking that plastic into a variety of different sources, and we're using it through recycling and maybe other innovative products that can turn something back into something else for another use. So I think it's important to make those points. And I really do appreciate the opportunity to kind of clear up some misperceptions around manufacturing. So a little bit about LyondellBasell. If we could go to the next slide, please. There's a local impact to LyondellBasell. So I'm sorry. There's a local impact to LyondellBasell. So we supply over $173 million each year in goods and services. So that's money that it takes to run our plant, to purchase different things on a very local level, to support local businesses and to support the economy. And that's just things we purchase and to run the plants, to run the units. We have over 500 individuals, employees, and contractors that come into our facility at the Morris complex, just at the Morris complex alone. Around the world, we have roughly around 14,000 workers. But at our Morris complex, we're looking at about over 500 workers that come in through our facility each day. Our annual payroll and benefits, we are, around $58 million annually, and that's just in payroll and benefits. And like CITGO had mentioned, we have a variety of different career paths that are available. Everything from operations and technicians, engineers, of course, chemists, all the things that you would think of, maintenance individuals to run our facility. But I think it's really important to note, as CITGO had said as well, is there's a variety of other careers like myself that can come into manufacturing's world. Human resources, public relations, we have a marketing department, we have a social media coordinator. That's at our global office as far as the social media is concerned. We have an accountant, and we actually have a site nurse. We have individuals that run our fire brigade. So a variety of different careers and opportunities are available at LyondellBasell. And we think it's really important to highlight those and showcase that right here in Grundy County, that's in your backyard. And those are opportunities that are wonderful careers that you can support your families on very locally. So with that, I know we can certainly talk a lot about that, but I'm gonna send it back over to Amy Murphy, and she can talk to you a little bit about Joliet Junior College and the opportunities to, to obtain these kinds of careers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Murphy. I'm here at Joliet Junior College. And my part of the presentation today, we're going to talk about some industry and education partnerships. And I'm very fortunate because we have two great industry partners that are on this webinar with us today, CITGO as well as LyondellBasell. And I want to share a program that actually was established at a community college, our community college, and how it came about. So approximately in 2014, we were on a bus tour actually in Grundy County, and there was educators, there was politicians, there was industry leaders, and we were all kind of talking about different things. And one of the local superintendents in the Grundy County Area Vocational Center director indicated about how a lot of the students are actually leaving the area to go, get their education out of state. And then what's happening is industry is kind of scooping them up all throughout the country and they're not coming back home. Could we figure out a way to develop a program here locally that we keep our talent local and kind of showcase what the career opportunities are and everything to that nature? So we sat down at the table, and at the time, it was Exelon nuclear facility that actually started the conversations with us. It was us with the Grundy Area Vocational Center, the Grundy Economic Development Council, as well as Senator Sue Resin. We all kind of sat together. We had Exelon's corporate officials sitting there looking at a way to kind of develop a program to keep this talent local, to kind of fill that void with the operator positions that are occurring. So as we're sitting there, one of the things that's really key in developing programs is the sustainability piece of it. And what we discovered early on is nuclear can't just do it within our area. Even though we have 3 nuclear facilities, in order to make sure everyone is employed, we need to bring in other partners. So what we did is we opened it up. Lyondell, Auxable came to the table. They sat down, they discovered, we have similar needs that we need, and we have operator positions, we have technician positions, and we need to develop something that'll kind of encompass those as well. TC Energy came on board, and we had CITGO as well. So we've got the partners there. We got a very large advisory board. There's approximately 53 different manufacturers throughout our area that are a part of this advisory board to kind of help shape what the program is. What we ended up coming up with was 2 tracks. We have a process operator track and we have a process technician track. So the kind of like the maintenance technician folks, or if you wanted to go into the operations end of it. The piece that was very vital in what we did as far as the development of it is we already had existing programs. So we looked at what was already there as far as coursework. We looked at what needed to be added to kind of fulfill the requirements of these jobs. And we added those components to it. This was one of the fast-tracked programs with the state. It took us less than 9 months to get these degree programs up and going, which is really unheard of within the process. If anybody understands the education world, it's really unheard of to get a program up and going in 9 months, but we did it. The piece I'd like to share with you that I thought was the most vital is a lot of times students go through a program and they really don't know what the program is, because where it doesn't connect you is actually to the real world and to the internship aspects. So what we did is we actually incorporated a class. They do it during year 1 and year 2. So it's the summer semester. They do an internship at one of the respective manufacturers in the area. It can be at Exelon, it could be CITGO, it could be Lyondell. We have many partners that have come forward to actually help out on the internships. And it actually takes their coursework that they did their first year, go out there and apply it and learn from others, because they get mentors while they're out there and kind of learn. These are full-time occupations that they're doing through their internship, and they're getting paid during it. So I always tell all the students as we're doing our recruiting aspect of it, your internship, if you save your money from your internship, will actually pay for your tuition. The other piece that came together within this program is we have a tremendous amount of industry support. For example, CITGO gave a $250,000 endowment to the college for scholarships. So students can apply for the scholarships and actually help reduce what their tuition and fee cost is. We have LyondellBasell, who's actually given money to the college to purchase the textbooks and equipment to be used in the classroom to kind of make sure the equipment that we have is relevant to what industry has and to kind of help reduce the costs with the textbooks. TC Energy has done the same thing. These are the industry support that comes back to education that shows the true partnership that is out there. Our first cohort launched in 2015. We were actually just started in August, our 6th cohort. And just to kind of share some perspectives on this occupation, believe me, you have to want to be able to work in the environment. And we do explain what the environment is. It is shift work. It's outdoors. It can be hot, can be cold, but these are very rewarding careers. To date, we've had 100% completion through the program. 100% have been placed. You're going to hear a little bit later from one of the students who actually went through the internship, was made a job offer prior actually to his graduation, and kind of avoided having to go through the employment process to actually apply for the job. And he will kind of share that a little bit later. But the average base salary for an individual who comes out of the program is $72,000. And I say that's a base salary. That does not include their benefits, does not include any overtime. And when I do these presentations, we did one last year and we had a bunch of educators there and we had a couple students who were kind of sharing their perspectives. They kind of laugh at me when I say 72,000 because they keep telling me they're six figures. They are six figures because the opportunity for the overtime is there if people want it. We had another individual who actually, he just broke 200,000 in his career. So the opportunities for well-paying positions are there. They're local. They are actually in a lot of your backyards. You just have to kind of like identify what you're looking to do, identify the pathway you want to get on. As both Mindy and Megan mentioned, it's not just maintenance or operators. There's other occupations that you can go into like IT, HR, all of those different aspects. They're all available for you. We just wanted to focus on the one program that we partnered together just recently on. And with that, I'm going to ask Melissa if she wouldn't mind sharing a video we'd like to share with another partner who actually is helping us promote the OET. It's the Operations Engineering and Technician Program. Melissa, if you don't mind sharing that video real quick. Melissa, you might be on mute.
Engineering and Technician Program.
Hold on,
Nuclear power plants.
Let me start that over,
A lot of
guys.
the
Sorry.
students in the area, the local talent was actually going to college out of state.
We began exploring why we're sending kids 5, 6, 7 hours away when we had a great community college in our area.
That was the reason why we started that Operations Engineering and Technician Program.
Nuclear power plants around this area have contributed a lot to this program. Some of our teachers were Exelon employees. We would learn a lot about nuclear power through them.
It's keeping our talent local and great careers with opportunities for growth and expansion as well as well-paying jobs. A lot of the students in the area,
Thanks, Melissa. Switch this back real quick here. So as the video kind of showed, it kind of outlined things that can happen with partnerships with your local community colleges, where this is just one example of that. And one of the things I point out to you is in the video you heard from one of our former students, Zach, and he had mentioned how some of the teachers within the program actually are Exelon employees. We have Lyondell employees who teach for us. We had CITGO employees who teach for us. That's all part of the partnership aspect. And that's how you bring in that real world experience into the classroom and tie it together. One other piece before I turn it over to Melissa real quick is I want to point out that one of the pieces that we do within the OET program is we actually, in our very first semester, we bring in the industry representatives to kind of explain their facility, what their industry is all about, very similar to kind of what Megan and Mindy did earlier in this session, is so they understand what's involved within the occupations. They bring them out, they do tours. It's very important that you actually see the different things. And when you look at some of the towers that you have to climb, you have to know you have to climb those. That's part of the job that you're doing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa, and she's going to share another partnership that we do with industry.
All right, thanks, Amy. I'm Melissa Lachek with Joliet Junior College. I do a lot with our corporate community services department, outreach-wise, and I also have been very active in our apprenticeship program. One thing I want to share about the apprenticeship program, this is just another great example of how industry and education work together to develop a talent pipeline of skilled workers. The apprenticeship programs are a valuable workforce solution to increase staff loyalty and retention. In fact, according to the Department of Labor, 94% of apprentices actually retain the employment after completing the apprenticeship program. So this is just a great way, especially in the advanced manufacturing sector with the dire need for skilled workers to increase that knowledge retention as your employees retire and to bring in the next generation of the workforce. Apprenticeship programs are great opportunities for any new hires, or even if you want to upskill current employees to advance within the company to essentially grow your own. Some of the benefits for the apprentice are that they get to earn while they learn. They get a paycheck while they're going through getting the related training in the classroom, and then also while learning on the job. And one of the things that is definitely notable is an opportunity for them to earn a credential. Upon completion of the program, they'll receive a national credential from the U.S. Department of Labor showing that they've met the skills and proficiencies that have been vetted through industry. So that's just another benefit there. And one thing in regards to the apprenticeship program, we're very excited. Last year, we became a program sponsor for a registered apprenticeship program. A lot of our emphasis is in the advanced manufacturing sector. Some of the current occupations that we currently have are AutoCAD technician, CNC program and operator, injection molding machine operator, industrial maintenance mechanic, machinist, and mechatronics technician. Those are not limited because the Department of Labor has over 2,000 jobs that are eligible to be to become an apprenticeship program. However, those were the core manufacturing occupations with some of our current partners that showed the current need. So we're definitely reaching out to our advanced manufacturing companies to show this workforce solution. Some of the companies that you'll see pictured here are actually some of the local partners that we're working with now to develop their program. Logoplasty in the bottom left, that they participated in the signing last year at our kickoff event. Their need is for industrial maintenance mechanic. Wesco Machine and Tool, they needed a machinist. Master Molding, they're signing on for the injection molding operator. So those are all needs that they feel are relevant to their company. And that's how we can work with industry partners to get that program developed. And in addition to developing and creating the program with companies, we also can provide the related technical instruction. Our college offers a variety of technical classes, a robust offering actually, process control and instrumentation, industrial maintenance technology, electrical, robotics, and a whole lot more. So that's just kind of over encompassing in a nutshell to drive the occupations and to help to help get talented workers into the occupations that are needed. So, and ultimately, this is a great way for employers to improve productivity, profitability, and the bottom line. So real quick, I don't want to take up too much time more on this, but just the benefits of partnering with JJC is that we'll handle all the paperwork with the Department of Labor. We'll let you know about any tax credits that are available throughout the state. Also share with you any training grant funds that are available to kind of help offset the training costs. We'll feature your company and apprentices in outreach and spotlights. That's all available at no cost. So if you'd like to learn more, if you feel that that might be something you'd like to explore a little further for your company to see how that could benefit your company and your workforce, please feel free to reach out. The college is here is just another valuable resource and how industry and education can work together to develop innovative programs. So with that, we're actually very excited to have Jacob Beyer. He is the process technician at LyondellBasell, and we're super excited to have him share his perspective on going through the program. So I'm going to turn it over to Jacob.
Thank you, Melissa. I went through the Operations, Engineering, and Technician program at JJC, and I'm currently working for LyondellBasell as an operator. Just to talk a little bit about the OET program and what it pertains. So I took the operations side. You can take maintenance or operations. I took the operations side. and our classes included, we had gen eds like physics and chemistry. And we also had classes like taking apart pumps and pneumatic controls and electrical classes. And just to talk a little bit about, the classes and how they pertain to actually working out in the field. The hands-on classes, and I think even for the op side, were really beneficial because we get to see how a lot of the equipment that we work with on a daily basis, how it functions and works. So when we're out there and there is something wrong with a piece of equipment, we have a better understanding of what's wrong with it, and we can troubleshoot the equipment. So that really helps with that. And then our chemistry and physics classes were, when we're learning the process flows, and so constantly dealing with pressure and temperature, and that's really critical stuff that we have to know for our vessels and our piping, because they can only handle so much pressure and so much temperature. So the chemistry classes really helped with that, and physics. On my side of the plant, we're producing ethylene, and we're taking gases, ethane, propane, off our pipelines, and we're actually heating it up and cracking it, and separating those molecules into different gases that we send over to turn into plastic. So just having the chemistry and knowing that compounds and stuff like that, it really helps understanding the process that we have, and just a better understanding with that. So we, like Amy stated, we have an internship. I was picked up by LyondellBasell for my internship. I interned out here last summer, and the internship, I think, is a great opportunity to see firsthand how everything is, and see just the safety culture out in the plants, and get a better understanding of an everyday an operator, what they do on a daily basis. And so that really helped. And so and like she stated too, it's a paid internship, which some internships out there aren't paid. So having a paid internship really helps, and especially when it comes to paying for the college, and that really helps. And so that just helped get a better understanding for that. So then I just graduated in the May of this year, and I just hired in end of July. So I've been here for about 2.5, 3 months. Just to talk a little bit about, an operator and what they do on a day-to-day basis. What we do pretty much every day is we take our rounds, which is going around, checking the equipment, making sure everything's functioning properly, making, sure there's nothing wrong with anything, making sure our gauges are all reading correct readings, and make sure all the equipment's good. Work permits, we're constantly writing work permits for the maintenance and the electricians coming out here to work on different equipment, because as an operator, you own the equipment that's out in the field when you're working. So nobody has authority to work on any of the equipment without a work permit that you sign off on. And it just helps to know what they're working on, making sure they're getting on the right piece of equipment, and making sure they're authorized to be working in the equipment. So we're constantly writing work permits. We're always checking gauges, making sure our readings are correct. We're opening, closing valves, making sure we get our correct flows and correct pressures. And also a big thing that we're always doing is locking out equipment, because when we do have maintenance and electricians coming to work on equipment, of course we can't have any energy source in those lines, because that's a potential hazard for them to get hurt. So we make sure that we're locking everything out, we're bleeding out the lines, making sure all energy sources are isolated, and that it's locked out, and that nobody can operate those valves, so those workers are safe to work on that piece of equipment. Just talk a little bit. I mean, my favorite part about being an operator is, it's a challenge every day. I mean, but it's a good challenge. I mean, we're learning every day. I mean, even guys who've been out in the field for, years and years, they're still seeing new stuff every day, which I really find interesting coming into work, knowing that I could see something new every single day. And I just love that challenge of, learning all the equipment, especially being in training right now. I'm still learning all the process flows and all the equipment. And I really enjoy that. And it's a good paying job with really good benefits, and especially going through the program. And it's only a 2-year program. You make enough, during your internship to pay for your college, or you have all the grants and your scholarships that could pay for the college. So you're coming out with little to no debt in college, making good money with good benefits. So I just think it's a great career. And like I said, I really love the challenge, and I'd recommend it to anybody who's out there. I'd recommend going into that field and going through the OET program and pursuing that career.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're going to switch gears a little bit here, and I'd like to ask that Jennifer comes back on, and if she would share a piece that we wanted to make sure everybody understood about manufacturing and industry in general is kind of giving back. And I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer, if she wouldn't mind sharing some of the stuff that CITGO does to give back to the community.
I'd love to. Thanks, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jennifer Stocks. I am with the Government and Public Affairs Department at CITGO in the Lamont Refinery. This morning, my colleague Mindy shared with you why manufacturing is important, and specifically how CITGO is important to the local economy. But I would like to share with you a little bit about how CITGO gives back to the community. In fact, at the Lamont Refinery, we have a little saying that we're not just in the community, we're a part of the community. We like to say we're fueling good. So corporate citizenship is something that's built into our corporate culture. And we are contributing, our employees are contributing to our community and those communities around us. And whether it's resources, volunteer time, or actively empowering social development, we are giving back because we consider ourselves part of the community. So we are giving where we work and where we live. And so I just brought a few examples that I'd like to share with you this morning. The first one is you see a picture there of a lot of non-perishable food items up to the left-hand corner. Each year in the fall, our employees, they volunteer to run an annual food drive. And this benefits 6 local food pantries. And those pantries are essentially in Lamont, Romeoville, Lockport, and some are in just the Will County area. For those of you who might be in Joliet, students of JJC, one of them is in Joliet, the Catholic Charities Daybreak Shelter. And this is employee driven. It's been going on for over 20 years. It's something that not only the employees contribute to, but they look forward to. They have little contests amongst themselves, different floors, different buildings on the plant site, try and compete to see who can donate the most. And I can tell you that this year's food that was donated doubled from what was donated last year. And I have to tell you that I was pretty overwhelmed by what was donated last year. The feedback that I have received from the directors of the different pantries who receive the food is that this is so helpful because this is the time of year that they are gearing up for the holidays, Thanksgiving and whatnot, and they're pretty low on items. So it comes at just the right time. Specifically this year, 2020 has been a rough year for many. And one executive director said, this is coming right in time because we were running especially low. So, and our employees, that for them is a part of being at CITGO. So not only doing their job, but giving back. And so we're super proud and we're excited that we were able to serve our local community and our neighbors that way. The other, right below that, you see kind of like a Brady Bunch type picture. I know I just dated myself because I referred to the Brady Bunch, but you see below, that is from a scholarship virtual meet and greet, if you will. Actually, Amy Murray just referred to it when she was speaking about the opportunities at JJC, some of the tracks that you can get involved in that lead to manufacturing careers. But one of the ways that we are empowering social development is through scholarships, specifically STEM. CITGO, as Amy said, had the opportunity to get involved with the JJC Foundation and provide an endowment that will continue to provide scholarships for those who are pursuing some sort of technology STEM related career. And it has benefited not only those who are seeking a 2-year degree to go on to a 4-year degree, but it has benefited those who are a part of the programs that have been mentioned this morning already. So it's something that it goes out every year depending on how it's an endowment. So the scholarships are given out by the foundation based on the endowment, and it is open to, again, students who are seeking a STEM-related career. And it is just one way that we are able at CITGO to continually raise up the next generation of STEM leaders. That's something that's very important to us. So not only are we giving back that way at the college level, but also we're starting early. We currently have what we call 2 STEM Innovation Academies. They're both in the Lamont area. That's where we've started, and we hope to grow it. The first one was established at the Lamont High School, and then the second was at their SD 113, which is the Lamont Grade School and Junior High. The picture you see to the far right is what they call their maker space. And that is the Lamont High School Innovation Academy. And what we did is we partnered with Lamont High School. They remade their entire library into more of a hands-on media space. And we were able to partner with them and create the Innovation Academy. And it allows students, all students, with their teachers to come in and be creative and use technology for learning. So you might, what you see in the background there is a 3D printer, which is used for a variety of learning. Students come in and create programs and that they can use that for. But what you see in that picture is one of our engineers who came into a science class to help them do a study on their water at the school. Other ways that the academy is used, it's not just for perhaps science classes to come in. I was told about a sociology class that came in and used the computer programs and software to do a unit on mapping voters and how voting jurisdictions and how maps are created. So it's used in a variety of ways. And so that's just another way that we are working to build up that next generation of STEM leaders. And the picture in the middle is of a golf outing, something that we're particularly proud of at CITGO, a way that we have given back in Lamont for over 30 years. But since 1986 as a company, we have been supporting the Muscular Dystrophy Association and helping raise money to find a cure for this debilitating disease in Lamont. Each year, our employees put together a bowling event in March and a golfing event in the summertime. Obviously, this year we weren't able to do those, but we hope to continue those post-COVID. And those are just 2 ways that we locally come together to support families and help see a change for these kids who are in need of advancements, and they are supplied with different medical care and whatnot, all because our employees want to give back and to see lives changed. And then finally, I don't have a picture, but the last thing I'll leave you with is that at CITGO, we are a partner and have been for quite some time with the United Way of Will County. We have stood with them for over 20 years, and once a year, we do what's called an annual campaign. We gather our employees together and we share what's going on with United Way with our employees, and we ask them to make a commitment. And last year, we were able to raise $130,000 that went to the United Way for them to support over 40 nonprofits in the Will County area. And I would just say to you, as I'm talking to people who are local, again, this is our commitment to the community, because if you or someone you know has ever benefited from a local nonprofit, whether it be a food pantry, hospice, an after-school program, odds are that was a United Way organization. And so we're just proud to have that kind of touch in the community and to partner with organizations who have an even greater touch and are able to take what we give and do even more things to reach out to the neighborhood and to our people that we consider our neighbors. So those are just a few ways that we give back, and we are proud of our corporate citizenship. And I hope that that is something that, as you are looking at your future and careers, that's something that you will consider when you are looking at companies that you would like to be a part of. I guess I'm turning it back over to Megan, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her company and how they serve the community.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. And I give you guys a lot of credit. You do wonderful things in the community. So from a LyondellBasell perspective, I think it's really important to talk about a handful of different things when it comes to community. And this is something I'm very passionate about. I live locally. My children go to school locally. So I know we have a responsibility as a local corporate citizen to give back. And we take that responsibility very seriously. I will say that as you look for your career opportunities and you look at different manufacturing organizations or wherever organizations you're going to look at for careers, it's something to consider. What philanthropy efforts do these organizations, what are they passionate about? Where do they spend their time, their resources, and their dollars? And so I think it's extremely important to look at those things as you navigate your career path. For LyondellBasell this year, we've had to get really creative. We receive corporate funding from our corporation, LyondellBasell, and then we also receive site funding. So collectively, we give back, not including any United Way donations that we do, but collectively, just from a site donation perspective, we look at about $40,000 each year. And again, that is not what we give from a Global Care Day, time, effort, resources, volunteer project, or our United Way efforts where we take money out of our own paychecks and we give back to our local communities, and our corporation matches dollars for dollar what that looks like. But from a COVID-19 perspective, I wanted to very briefly touch base on how creative we had to get this year, because a lot of things that we typically give back to, maybe different community festivals or different events, they simply didn't occur this year because of the pandemic. And so we put our heads together from a leadership perspective, and we realized, there's a great deal of needs from a local business perspective right now. Our local businesses were being asked to put together, a variety of different PPE and, for their workers, and hand sanitizers and plexiglass if you're in a restaurant or whatever that may look like. And they didn't have the resources to provide those things. And so we worked with our Grundy County Chamber, and we provided a grant to them where we would normally put this festival money together. We were able to work with the Grundy County Chamber and give those dollars to local businesses this year, something that we typically aren't able to do, but because of the pandemic, we were wanting to step up as a corporate citizen and really help. In addition to that, to giving back to those small businesses, I mentioned very briefly our Global Care Day. And Global Care Day is a global effort where all of us employees come together. We pick a service project in our community, and we work towards the greater good of something. So a couple Saturdays ago, with our masks on and properly socially distanced, we purchased a truck over in our Coal City area, a food truck. We put together different packages, and then anybody in the community with a need was able to come by and pick up a food package. Those things really do make a difference, and we're really proud of the efforts where we can put our time and our resources together. When it's not a COVID world and we're able to provide grants to a variety of different non-for-profit organizations, we're really passionate about STEM. We're really passionate about getting into classrooms through different robotics programs. We do a variety of different lunch and learns. So, just like these opportunities where we can talk to students and we can give them different opportunities as far as what careers look like. In addition to that, grants provided to the hospital. We provide a grant to Morris Hospital every year, our local fire departments, our local police and sheriff. We appreciate the efforts and how they assist us and support us. So we want to give back in that sense. We send kids to STEM camps. You know, it's important for those kids who are interested in STEM and career opportunities who maybe can't afford those opportunities. LyondellBasell is there as a good corporate citizen to, you know, engage them and help facilitate their interest there. Last year, we were really proud to put a Stop the Bleed kit, a tourniquet kit in every single classroom over at Minooka High School. So once again, you know, we live in this community. We're passionate about giving back. I could go on and on about talking about our community outreach program, but I will stop there. I'm going to turn it back over to David, and this is where we're going to do some question and answer portion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy, Jennifer, Melissa, Amy, Megan, and Jacob for that. At the moment, we don't have any questions in the chat, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to communicate them in the chat. But I do want to ask Mindy and Jennifer, what is the best way for someone to prepare for a career in manufacturing? Would they need any formal education?
I guess I'll go ahead and start with that. There are a variety of different jobs that we have that require a variety of different education levels. Everything from high school degree, 2-year degree, or 4-year degree. I wholeheartedly believe some of the programs that Amy has spoken about today are a great fit for wanting to get into the manufacturing, and some sort of 2-year program with internship and hands-on that also focuses on communication skills and those types of aspects are a really good fit if that's the type of career you're pursuing. And I think it all really depends on what a person's goal is. You know, on the other side, engineer does require a 4-year degree. We have a lot of good 4-year institutions in our area that focus on engineering, from University of Illinois to University of Wisconsin, that have some great, Purdue University, some great engineering programs. So I think it all just depends what that career is. Learning about the different careers, taking a tour of places, all those things are good. But I do think a lot of great local resources in our area to help people prepare for that. I hope that answered that okay.
Excellent, thank you. For Melissa and Amy with Joliet Junior College, how would someone go about signing up for the OET program?
You can take that one, Melissa. We have the application that opens every February. So you can only apply one time a year. It's February 1st through either the 28th or 29th, depending if it's a leap year. You apply during that month, and those that are selected to move forward will actually start in the August cohort, that fall semester. Part of the application process, just so everyone's clear on it, is you do fill out the application online. You have to meet certain criteria as far as your English and math scores go. Once you kind of pass that initial process to it, you kind of are what we consider conditionally approved. From there, you actually have to pass a drug test and background screening before you can move on to be actually admitted into the program. Part of why we do that is it's part of industry, and you have to pass a drug test or the background check to actually get hired. So we do that as part of the employment process. So students would get drug tested up front. When they go to their internship, they will get drug tested again for that internship. And they could also get randomly drug tested once they're at that internship, and again for employment process. But the application is available online at jgc.edu/info/OET the month of February. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Amy. I think this question might be for Megan. We do have one in the chat. Are there currently any internship opportunities going on? Because of COVID, I was unfortunately not able to go through my internship at Lyondell over the summer.
I'm really sorry to hear that. That's extremely disappointing, and we're certainly hopeful that there will be an opportunity for you in the future. Currently, we're doing everything like other organizations are doing, and we're working remotely for those of us like myself that can. Obviously, there's people like Jacob who are essential to the workforce that cannot. But we're not bringing on additional people at this point during the pandemic, just from a safety perspective. And as Jacob had touched upon, our safety culture is everything. It's everything that we put first in every single aspect of what we do. And so we don't feel like it would be a responsible thing for us to bring somebody additional onto the site right now. That being said, when COVID-19 is over and successfully behind us, we will be working with the Grundy County Economic Development Corporation to bring on interns through their program. We work with Joliet Junior College, so there will be opportunities in the future, but at this point, unfortunately, no, because of the pandemic.
Thank you, Megan. And actually, I have another question for you. I think you touched on it a little bit, but I was wondering if there's more. How has your facility handled keeping your employees safe during COVID-19?
Yeah, it's been a challenge for sure, and I think everybody can say that. We were deemed essential by the governor very early on because of the products that we make go in a variety of different, the plastic that we make goes in a variety of different products, such as medical grade equipment. We have a facility in Tuscola, Illinois that makes synthetic alcohol, so their product goes into a hand sanitizer. So, we had to keep our units running, and we've done that very successfully, and we've done that safely as well. So we went into different phases. So for those individuals that were, able to work from home, like myself, I have been home. For those individuals that are on shift or need to keep their units running, they make sure that they are safely distanced. We have to fill in a log if you're on site every day as far as your contacts are concerned. And if you've had any close contacts, because when you are in our facility, if you're working on a unit, you may have to work closely with somebody to fix something. But that being said, we're putting all the proper measures in place, a facial cover, making sure that, it's within that 15-minute time zone that we're following through the CDC guidelines. We're making sure we're logging those interactions so that if we have any sort of issue, we can make sure who that person has come into contact with. In addition to that, we've provided a variety of different PPE to our employees. We do what we call a gate screen. So when you come on site, you have to have your temperature taken. They provided thermometers to us all. You have to go through a series of different questions about if you're having any sort of symptoms before you can even enter into our facility. So a variety of different things, everything from touchless doors, so you don't necessarily have to touch anything, a variety of different hand sanitizer, hand washing stations available. Our corporation is doing everything they can to really put their employees first and make sure they can keep us as safe as possible during this pandemic.
Thank you, Megan. For CITGO and Lyondell, what is the hiring process like at your company?
In terms of looking for a job opportunity, our website is the best place to look, www.citgo.com/careers. Any job openings we have will be posted there. From there, for a lot of our positions, it would involve an interview. It certainly may require some sort of additional testing, depending on the job that you're going into, whether that be math, science aptitude, technical aptitude, those types of things. And if you are offered a job, post-offer would certainly be background check process, medical screening process, all of those things. And another thing I appreciate about the JJC program, they've put a lot of those components in place to try to mirror what that process would look like on the manufacturing side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I think it's really great from an HR perspective, going to our website, LyondellBasell.com, lyb.com, looking at the job opportunities that are available. And then, just doing a little bit of research. I mean, what does that entail? Is that something I really want to do? And think about your resume and how you can build upon your skill set. And I want to go back for a second from the internship question that we received. We've been getting a lot of these kinds of questions, and somebody in our Cincinnati facility addressed this to the media, and I thought it was really good. And they said, take this time right now. You may not be able to be in our facility. You may not be able to complete an internship, but take the time to think about, what that entails. What's your experience? What are you doing with that time? Is there something that you can do research about? Is there something that you can kind of explore something a little bit further on your own? So don't let that be a wasted opportunity, but really think about different ways in which the next time around you're going to be prepared, you're going to ask good questions, you're going to do your research, and you're going to understand really what that internship involves.
Excellent. Thank you both. Another question for CITGO and Lyondell. What is the safety culture within manufacturing like?
I know Megan's addressed it, I'll address it. It's number one, the number one priority. And when I listen to Megan talk about all the COVID measures that have put into place, sounded very familiar. And it sounds like what we do, right? It sounds like when there's a hazard or something that we need to figure out how to keep our people safe, we work
Yeah.
through that, we do that. I know even from the HR perspective, I was on a COVID auditing team, right? You know, making sure that everything was as it should be. And I think as we approach our work, even hearing Jacob talk about lockout, tag out, right? And permitting and being the equipment owner and not letting anyone else touch that equipment unless the operator has given them the okay. We're certainly safety first culture. We are certainly don't getting it done quickly is not the highest priority. Getting it done safely is the highest priority. And I can speak for CITGO, Megan can speak for Lyondell, but I think that's pretty true throughout our whole industry.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think even our people were talking to your people during COVID in the very beginning, you know, and with the Exelons of the world and, you know, the Oxables, and we were all coming together saying, hey, what are you doing something different? This is what we're doing. What are you doing? Just making sure that we're just incorporating all that we can to keep our employees safe. And it is a culture very much. I'm not in the military myself, but it has been compared to the way that the military runs as far as that safety culture is concerned. That's something I'm very proud of. And I think that, you know, keeping our employees, our motto is we're going to return you the way that you came in. So we take that very, very seriously.
Excellent. There are a couple more questions that came in through the chat here. Megan, I think this will apply to what you were speaking to earlier with Lyondell, but also maybe CITGO as well. Who pays for the drug tests? Would that be the college, the student, or the company?
Company certainly pays during a hiring process. I can't speak through the JJC program, but anyone coming on board, that would be part of our onboarding process that we're going to cover those expenses. In addition, I will give our health services a plug. You know, we have nurse practitioner, occupational health nurse right here that has a great benefit to our employees when things come up and you have somebody here that you can talk to from the medical perspective as well.
Yeah, same thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Amy.
Well, I was just going to say from the college perspective, that drug test and background check is actually paid for by the student trying to get into the program. That's part of the commitment to get in. So they're doing the investment on that initial upfront and getting into the program. Go ahead, Megan, I'm sorry.
No. I think that's great. Same thing from a LyondellBasell perspective. We take that very serious. We are a drug-free workplace. I can remember when I applied, I came from Exelon Generation, which is also a drug-free workplace, to LyondellBasell. And I can remember going to take my drug test and they cut my hair. And I was like, wow. They took a little piece of my hair. So we take that very serious. And if you are considering a career in manufacturing, I can tell you that it is a drug-free facility.
Right, our next question is a GED or high school equivalent accepted for any of the operation positions and for the internship apprenticeship programs?
From a job perspective, if a high school diploma is required, we would accept GED or any equivalent as well.
Same for Lyondell.
All right, thank you both. So for CITGO and Lyondell, does either of your manufacturing companies offer internships or co-op?
You know, I was going to say earlier that Megan was answering the internship question, tough question, but I echoed everything she said. Normally yes to both of those. Unfortunately, this year we have not been able to do either of those. I shared earlier with Amy that's been one of my biggest disappointments in 2020 because that's something that I'm passionate about and something that we're excited about. So I'm anxiously awaiting the return of those types of programs. And certainly can understand everyone's eagerness for us to get those types of things back up and going. But so future, yes. Right now, no.
Right. This is the last question that I have on here. Do either of your manufacturing companies participate in any school career fairs?
We do at Lyondell, yes. Actually, it's been really interesting through this pandemic how we've adapted from a virtual perspective from my community world. And we just participated in 3 lunch and learns virtually with 3 different career paths. So we had an operations person, a technician, and an engineer talk about, what they do with students virtually, safely. When we're not in a COVID world, we like to get into the schools and we like to bring people who are really passionate about what they do and they talk about the day to day and what that looks like. And I think that really helps the students. We've done a variety of different STEM career fairs, in particular with Minooka High School. So we're always open to those opportunities. I know before COVID, we had like 3 really great opportunities going on with our local high schools. Coal City was one of them. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to participate in that. But things are kind of picking back up and we're getting creative on how we can talk to our students. So we welcome those opportunities.
Yes, same, both at the high school and at the college level.
We actually do have one more question in the chat here. Is a radius driving permit acceptable for employment?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sorry.
I think it would depend on the job and what the requirements are for driving for that particular position. So that question would have to be answered more specifically. We have some positions that requiring driving over the road because our plant's, 1,200 acres. So I think it really depends on what the job is and what the driving requirements are for that position. And that would be listed in each job posting.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That is all the questions that have been asked in the chat. So I guess at this point, I would turn it back over to our presenters to see if they have any final remarks. I do want to say, and as a reminder, that this webinar has been recorded and will be uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel, and we will share that link in the chat. But if there are any final remarks from CITGO, Joliet Junior College, or LyondellBasell, I'll turn it over to you now.
So I'll just say one thing. I'll just say thank you for this opportunity, Illinois WorkNet. It was very appreciated. We experienced a different year this year, obviously with COVID-19. We are so used to having all our manufacturers together. We partner actually with Three Rivers Manufacturers Association and all the area manufacturers to do a manufacturing day where we bring out approximately 700 high school students to kind of illustrate what is available in manufacturing. And we have the companies there, and we bring in a guest speaker to kind of like get everybody kind of excited about it. And then the students have an opportunity to talk to the manufacturers one-on-one about the different occupational pathways, the jobs, the culture, everything to that nature. And we didn't get to have it this year. And to sort of have this opportunity to kind of share why manufacturing was important, actually, we very much appreciate that. So Kimberly and David, personally, I thank you. I know Megan and Mindy and Jennifer and Melissa and Jake, they all feel the same way. But I just wanted to say thank you for it. And Megan and Mindy or Jennifer, did you guys have anything else you wanted to share from your company perspective?
From a company perspective, just thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, as you stated, and appreciated everybody's time today.
Yeah, ditto. Just thank you for the opportunity to be able to talk about our company and answer questions.
I think it's important to highlight, Manufacturing Month, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of LyondellBasell, but with these great group of people. And what I want to leave with is, this isn't your father's manufacturing facility. We use the latest technology. We have amazing careers that local families support, local individuals support their families with, and we're very grateful to be a part of that. And if we can ever provide more information to you, we're happy to do so. So thank you for the opportunity today.
Melissa, did you want to share anything?
Just thank you for, again, kind of reiterating those sentiments for the opportunity to share manufacturing, and also a huge shout out to CITGO and LyondellBasell for sharing their time and their talents and the opportunities you know, and showing the great things of the key things that we wanted to highlight, why manufacturing is so important. I mean, I've shared from the beginning that it's more than just a building. It's more than just about a product that's being made. There are awesome people that help drive the companies, and it's more than just a product. It's about giving back and helping the economy and being an active and a active participant and a great corporate citizen. So I just want to say thank you to both companies and all the manufacturing companies out there. Thank you for all that you do, you know, especially in these challenging times. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And coming from Illinois WorkNet, we absolutely thank all the presenters and everyone that could join us today, just because it is Manufacturing Month and there's so many misconceptions and not up-to-date information that's out there, especially to high school students or people that are looking for careers. So we just want to thank you to all the presenters and to the manufacturers out there. We really appreciate you guys being able to join and get this webinar going, because this was excellent information and I know it will be shared.
Thank you.
All right, and I think with that, we will go ahead and close out the meeting. So thanks again all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
And we'll get this uploaded to YouTube and share it with you all.
Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.